The Gorons are one of the oldest races in the Zelda universe. They were here from Skyward Sword until now. But what's the difference between the Gorons from Skyward Sword and the Gorons at the end of the timeline? How did the Gorons evolve throughout time and what happened in their history? We all know the Gorons, the huge bulky humanoid creatures that dwell in the mountains and eat rocks. They are interesting creatures. They can get older than 80 years and all of them are male as far as we know. But they can get over 300 years. Well, some believe that at least. Gorons are for sure the strongest race in the Zelda universe, but lucky for us, they are peaceful. Gorons are shown to be resistant towards fire and lava. They can curl up into a ball and roll at very fast speeds. In addition, Gorons with magic can even sprout spikes if rolling fast enough. And they do damage, and sometimes quite a lot. Some people see Gorons as a not very intelligent race, but that's completely not true. They have been seen as archaeologists in The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword and as pyrotechnics in Majora's Mask. Throughout the series, Gorons didn't change much, but some things are different from Goron to Goron. For example, their height. The biggest Goron in the series is Big Goron, who is roughly the same size as the peak of Death Mountain. So that's quite tall. The culture of the Gorons is very brother-like and explosive. You can see this in their traditions and architecture. For example, one Goron says that manhood can only be reached by rolling with a bomb flower, as if to roll through the explosion. They are also very good in making explosives. For example, they supply the bomb shop in Kakariko Village in Twilight Princess. And they designed the explosive barrel in Majora's Mask, which can take out the biggest boulders. They are big fans of fighting sports like wrestling and sumo wrestling, but it's only for fun and entertainment. There's never been a real Goron to Goron fight. But how did the Gorons change throughout the ages? How did they evolve? What happened to their race in time? Well, the first time we see them in history is in Skyward Sword. You only see 3 Gorons and they live on the surface. 2 of them are archaeologists and 1 helps at a minigame. There is no real Goron civilization, but there must have been one because of the tribal tattoos that all the Gorons have. This shows that they are from the same tribe because the tattoos all look the same. But they probably lost a lot of Gorons in the fight against the mice before the beginning of the timeline. So that's before Skyward Sword. And that is why there is no civilization left. Alright, let's move on a bit later in the timeline, around Ocarina of Time. In Ocarina of Time they have a fully grown city in Death Mountain with shops, smiths, everything. They eat rocks from the Dongo's cavern, but they almost all die because of Ganondorf, who blocks off the cavern. But Link solves this problem and clears the way and clears the cavern from any danger. So everything is fine there. They are also confirmed allies of the King of Hyrule. And nothing really changed about the Gorons in that time biologically. But it's going a lot worse after the events of Ocarina of Time. The timeline splits in 3, but what happens to the Gorons in each timeline? Well, Hyrule gets flooded in the Wind Waker timeline, and not a lot of Gorons survive. There are only a couple of Gorons left alive because Gorons just can't swim. We see that in Majora's Mask with Goron Link. They end up being wandering traders and disguise themselves, but you can still see the Goron logo on their backpacks to confirm that they're Goron. Throughout that timeline, they increase in numbers and get back to a normal civilization on islands, like in Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. But something strange happens from this timeline to the one of Majora's Mask. In the timeline of Majora's Mask, the land does not get flooded, and Termina Gorons look a lot like the ones from Ocarina of Time, so there's no difference there. But in Twilight Princess, they do not like humans. There are no humans allowed. Link must first prove himself as a fighter by doing a sumo wrestling match with a Goron before they accept him. So something must have happened between the humans and the Gorons. But what happened? Well, no one knows, even I can't give an explanation. But what the biggest difference is between the Gorons from Ocarina of Time and the ones from Twilight Princess is that these Gorons can breathe underwater. There's a Goron that became encased in the lava of Death Mountain. The chunk of lava he is stuck in is fired from Death Mountain's crater and lands on a mountain slope. Later on, Link and Midna warp the chunk to Zora's domain and use its heat to melt the frozen water. The chunk sinks to the bottom of the Zora's throne room. While in the water, Link can see eyes in the lava chunk. If you view it from the right angle, Link can use a water bomb to destroy the chunk of lava, freeing the Goron. He thanks Link for saving him and gives him a bomb bag. He stays at the bottom of the pool for the rest of the game, enjoying the cool water. So this means that the Gorons from Twilight Princess evolved so they can breathe underwater. But how did they do it? What happened to the Gorons that they could do something like this? Well, Gorons eat rocks, right? Well, that's the key to their success. Silicate minerals and rocks are extremely common and contain oxygen, and it's also the only thing they eat. So they could have evolved and gained an ability to store and use oxygen from the rocks they eat. But why did this not happen to the Gorons from Wind Waker? Well, the flood happened so fast that the Gorons couldn't adapt to the situation, so they drowned. Evolution can take up to a few hundred years, even millions sometimes. So a flood that drowned an entire kingdom in a couple of days is not enough time to evolve something like that. But what happened in the last timeline? The one where Link is defeated? Well, there are no Gorons in Link to the Past, but they do return in Oracle of Ages and Seasons. They reside on Rolling Ridge and produce bomb flowers, so they probably lost a lot of Gorons to Ganondorf, and survived barely. The Gorons have an interesting history that changes a lot, and they get quite a blow in 2 of the 3 timelines, and almost go extinct. But it's a strong and proud race, and I can understand why a lot of people love the Gorons. Thanks for watching everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like and check out my other content. Bye bye!